Okay, well, supposedly it says I'm live, so I guess so. I titled this Resistance because I am energetically resisting doing this. Um, I I am in a lot of resistance doing this, but I'm doing it, and you can tell that obviously I'm doing it, but I don't know what the flip I'm doing. Um, that I'll do my best here. Basically, I'm being told to do these kinds of things. Um, I I don't know why. I really don't. So this title resistance because I'm in so much resistance that just to do this. Um, not that anybody's going to see it, obviously. Maybe I don't know. Um, Basically, just showing the universe that I'm willing, even though I'm not. No, I am willing because I'm doing it right. So I guess the resistance for me is just after working so hard this lifetime to get to this point, knowing that this point would come in the world, telling people that I know for years that a time was coming that there would be exactly this going on. Millions of people leaving the planet, and we don't have millions yet, but if it keeps up the way it's going, which is basically, people fighting to go back to work, opening up the country, when it's still just the beginning stages of this, it's like, wow, okay, well, go right ahead on and then see what happens. And, you know, if you have money, getting it in metal, gold, silver, jewels, because, the economy of the world is basically in the toilet. So, uh, this is, something that I've known and been given as far as information, telling people for a long time. So, what I can do is breathe, which is what I do. I'm a master breathologist, which means that I am to the emotional body what a psychiatrist is to the mental body. 33 years actually coming right up here, and miraculous healings take place when you clear your emotional body, and you can do that through the breath. Um, the conscious connected breath, which is a circular breath, which means there's no break between the inhale and the exhale. So you're constantly breathing. And what happens when you do that is it allows you to not only feel your life force, which has been going on since day one, but also come up in touch what's going on in your emotional body. So your emotional body is where all the trauma that you've ever experienced in your life is held. And if that is not clear, then eventually your physical body will produce dis-ease. And there is 99% of the time there's an energetic counterpoint to the manifestation of dis-ease. So you clear the energetic and you can clear the disease, the dis-ease. So I've seen miraculous healings with people from doing this work. And so I thought, well, um, what can I do to help? Um, and I got very clearly, you can breathe, since I do that so well. So I'm dedicating my breathing, my conscious connected breathing, which is like taking a deep breath every single time you breathe, which is pretty awesome when you can get to that point of taking a deep breath every time. Most people don't know how to take a deep breath. And if they do, they can't get it past, their solar plexus. The whole idea is to breathe deep enough to get it in through the heart chakra. So that's what I'm doing. I've dedicated all my breathing to the world and all the people that can't breathe. And interestingly enough, of course, this dis-ease on the planet is about the lungs and breathing and having a hard time breathing. So because it's very easy for me to breathe, I'm going to be breathing for people that can't, don't know how, don't want to, are in their own resistance. I mean, you have to look at this. Well, you don't have to, but I look at it from an energetic standpoint. And this is something that's been talked about for eons, this age, and we're in it now. For me, it's been a long path, almost 50 years of finding out and reading and going inward and finding out what's the truth and what isn't. So it's important now that you realize that, this is something, yeah, it's scary. It's always scary when you're moving into some of the unknown. And this is all unknown for everybody. Well, for most people, it's unknown. I've talked about this for years to people, to prepare them as much as possible, to utilize their breath as much as possible, so you can be clear when this stuff, hits the fan, which of course it is doing now, and will continue to do. This is the beginning of this. This is the tip uh, of the iceberg, and as you know, most of the iceberg is under the water. Um, I watched someone last night online that was talking about this is the earthquake before the tsunami. And I've been getting that for years, that when this came, it would shake up the entire planet, and there would be a lot of people that were leaving. And it's not a bad thing. I mean, in some circles that might actually be a good thing, but I know it's scary for people. It's also scarier for people that have had money and have used to having money and been able to waste their money and buy crap that they don't need for so much money that they didn't need to spend. And it's putting everything in perspective, isn't it? What's really important, what isn't. Uh, maybe the 75-foot, TV really isn't that important. I am exaggerating a little bit, not much. Or the, gigantic car that, makes a huge carbon footprint on the planet, and gas guzzles or whatever guzzles. So I guess my resistance is just doing this part now, because I've done a lot of the other part, clearing the emotional body, and the physical body and the mental body and the spiritual body. So now it's about, okay, so what can I do? Well, I can say what I've been saying, which is go in. Been saying this for months now to people, that the time is to go in. And isn't the universe just incredible? Because now, literally, people have to stay in. What I have found is that if I need to change something and I need to do something, and I keep hearing in my, the voices of all the guides and angels that I have. If I'm supposed to do something and I don't, then the universe does it for me, and it's usually way harsher than if I had just done it voluntarily and not been in resistance. So I haven't been in resistance about clearing up the old and getting rid of the patterns and the past and the familial lines and the karma. And I haven't been resistant about that. I've been resistant about, doing this, making videos. So the idea is to realize that this is all happening for a good reason. I mean, the shadow of the United States of America is huge and has been for a long time. And so, of course, this is huge when the universe has to make us go in and stay in. And of course, most people don't know what to do when they don't have anything to do. So then it moves into a frequency of being. And being human beings are different frequency than human doings. And of course, we've been a human doing since we got here. And now we're moving into human beings. And so that is about going in and learning how to meditate, listening, going in, listening to your guides, your angels, who's ever been with you since the get-go, and letting them guide you and lead you, and giving it over, surrendering your fear, because the third dimension is fear-based. And so, of course, all this fears, either known or unknown, are up now. But one of the things that's happening is that, this country has some major karma. And it's no coincidence that we have who we have in charge, quote unquote, because he represents, exactly what's wrong with this country. You can't enslave one race and decimate another and think that that karma isn't going to come back and bite you in your ass. Or in this case, your lungs. So that's why, the ancestors and talking to our, the people that have passed and that have been part of this from the get-go, and as we have, and calling in everybody, and keep surrendering to it and keep breathing. And just notice, how far you can breathe, how deep you can go. I can take a deep breath through my nose. Most people can't take a deep breath through their mouth. So once you learn how to do that, it calms your sympathetic nervous system. It calms you right down. It brings you into the moment, which is where we need to be right now. We need to be in our bodies. We need to be in the moment, and we need to be aware of, what's being presented to, stoke the flame of fear, and remembering that we're way more than that. We're beings of light and of love, and that is the truth of our nature, and that the fear is just that. And yes, it's present, it's palpable, it's there. I'm not poo-pooing it. I'm not pretending that it's not there. It is there. It's just how much of energy do you want to put into being afraid? We're on the cutting edge of moving into another complete frequency. Some people call that the Ascension, moving into your light body, moving into the next dimension, the fifth dimension, which you have to, frequency has to be at a love vibration, because the fear vibration will not make it to the next place. It can't. It's like oil and water. It doesn't mix. So the idea is to keep your frequency up and to keep surrendering and to keep trusting. This is where your spiritual beliefs, what you really believe in your heart, this is where the rubber meets the road. So if it's all just been blah, blah, blah with your beliefs and not walking your talk, then you're going to have a hard time right now, because that's part of all this. What is the truth and what is not? And that's up to everybody with eyes to see and ears to hear. So if you have the eyes to see what's going on, then you will see past the surface and the fear mongering and the distractions and the freaking blah, blah, blah from our so-called leaders. And you will be able to see the truth. There is truth here. You just have to dig a little. But that truth is inner truth. That truth is knowing who you are, remembering who you are, that you are a spirit having a physical experience, that this is not all of us. This is just our, how we get around. So just know that you're not alone. This is all happening for a reason. It's been foretold for ages in all religions and in all indigenous peoples. This time was prophesized. So, Nostradamus, Edgar Casey, Dolores Cannon, plus all the other people that have said that this time was coming. So it's here. Whatever that you're resisting about it is exactly what you need to do. So I'm resisting about making videos, so that's what I have to do. Oh gosh, I love it, and I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Little baby steps into the shallow end, but I am doing it so that the universe doesn't have to do it for me, because Lord knows what that road that would look like. So just know that, it's all good, even though it looks like shite. Oh, shite. I like that word. Shite. Because it's pretty shitey right now in a lot of respects. But if you know how to be the hermit, which is the one that goes in and brings out the light back out and holds the light for others, that's what we get to do now. So all the work that we've been doing to get here, now it's here, and now we get to do the real work. I thought I was doing work before now. Maybe this is the easier end of the work since I've been doing it for so long. I certainly trust so. So I think that's about all for today. I did it, so yay me, and yay you. All right, just keep keep aligning with your soul. This is your soul time now. Keep tuning in, keep trusting, keep breathing a circular breath so that your inhale becomes your exhale, and so on. And then notice, in your body where it stops. How far can you breathe deeply? Can you at all? The deeper you can breathe, the easier this is going to be, because you will allow your energy to stay in the present and to stay aligned with your soul and high self. So I think that's it for me, at least for today. Or, I might get used to doing this and you might be seeing me way more than you want. I don't know if anybody's ever going to see this. And it really doesn't matter, because at least I know I'm doing what I'm being asked to do. And that's the most important thing, at least for me. All right. God bless. God is blessed. Om Namah Shivaya.